Welcome back to Elevation Perspective. My name is Mark, joined today with Dale once again for some college picks. Dale, you played really well last time we did this about 2 weeks ago. You went 3-1. We're going to try to replicate that again today with your four picks. How are you feeling today?
Feeling good. It's feeling pretty confident right now because I'm filming in the same room that Aaron Rodgers does the McAfee show in. So that's pretty good. He's very successful and he's been winning a lot. So good vibes.
It does look eerily similar to the backdrop that Aaron Rodgers has when he's on the McAfee show. It's a very distinct color, kind of like aqua green, if you will. But with that being said, we're going to move on here to your very first pick. What do you got for us today, Chris?
So what I got today, I got four picks again after a successful first trial. The 3-1 was nice and won a lot of people some money. So let's keep that going. And my first pick of the day is going to be at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Tomorrow's a great day because we get college basketball all day. It's one of those tournament days, so there's games at noon, and it kills me to not pick a noon game. But I'm not picking a noon game. Don't really love those too much, so we're gonna go to 5 o'clock. And I got VCU -6.5 over Seton Hall. VCU is a really good team. They're returning most of their team that was in contention for the Atlantic 10 title last year, and I'm just going to be honest with you. Seton Hall looked terrible. I saw them play live last Wednesday, and I don't know if you ever pictured people playing basketball like a medicine ball, what that would look like. That's kind of what Seton Hall looks like. Kind of looks like they're playing with a weighted basketball. They just
Okay.
can't score at all.
Are they supposed to be a good team, Seton Hall?
No, they lost a lot of guys from last year's NIT winning team,
Okay.
but they lost most of that team. So it's definitely going to take a period to adjust. They just lost to my Hofstra Pride. Shout out to Hofstra. But this is a more so I really like VCU pick, and VCU has been killing everyone they're playing. They haven't really played a great team yet, but they've been just kind of running away with games. And Seton Hall is having a really tough time scoring the basketball. So I'm gonna go with experience, and that's VC right now. They return pretty much their whole team from last year. And like we saw for anyone listening from the first episode, I like that experience in November.
Okay, awesome. I liked everything you said right there. So pick number one is VCU. That's -6.5.
Yep, -6.5. I would get it now because it's going up a little bit. I see another line as -7.5. I'm gonna use the line I got, 6.5. So
Awesome. How about pick number two here?
pick number two, I'm gonna go with pick that we actually can't even make right now in New York State because it's St. John's. But I'm taking Baylor over St. John's. Baylor -2.5. They're playing this one in the Bahamas. St. John's looked really good Sunday against New Mexico, and I was kind of surprised. I didn't expect them to look that great, but they answered the bell. But Baylor's a different animal. Baylor, I know last episode I was hammering against Baylor with
Yeah.
Gonzaga, saying like, "Oh, Baylor's not experienced," but since then, I mean, that pick was a great pick for Gonzaga, but Baylor has beaten Arkansas, who's a good team. And this is a neutral site game in the Bahamas. They're not playing at Gonzaga. I really like them. I like the size and the depth they have up front. And I think that's going to be a lot for St. John's. St. John's bigs are a little suspect and not really in love with their shooting and scoring. So I'm gonna go with Baylor here. I really like Baylor's bigs, and I like Omir from the Miami transfer. He's dominant, and I really expect him to have a huge game. If we had player props, I would probably put stuff on his rebounds.
And I'll totally give you a pass there because that's a full 2 weeks since we last recorded. So it's not like you're flip flopping one day. That is 2 weeks of gameplay. You said they had a really nice, impressive win against Arkansas. So you're feeling good about them now. So
Yeah, and it wasn't even a shot at Baylor in the Gonzaga one. It was just Gonzaga. I think is so good this year. I actually took them earlier this week at -10.5. They're at San Diego State, just covered with ease. Won by like 14. Just the whole game wasn't just. It was more of a testament that Gonzaga is really good, and it was like a home game for them. I'm really liking Baylor.
all right. So pick number two is going to be Baylor -2.5. How about pick number three, Chris?
Pick number three. So we went with two favorites early. Now I'm going to go with an underdog.
Okay.
Um, so I really like this St. Joe's team. They're in the A10 with VCU, and I think they're two of easily the top four teams in the A10. And they are playing Texas Tech at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And Texas Tech's a decent team. I don't think they're going to be that great. They're a Big 12 team, so this is definitely giving them the benefit of the doubt, and they are undefeated. but they are getting 11. They're giving 11 and a half points to St. Joe's. And I think St. Joe's is like a borderline tournament team, and they need these games. They beat Villanova at home. It was a close game. They should have won by more, but they're one of their best players, Xavier Brown. He had a rough game. He didn't really score, but they still won. But they have two Big 12 caliber guards, St. Joe's, and they have good depth. But I like that. I like Eric Reynolds. He's amazing, and him and Brown are that's a Big 12 backcourt, and I think 11 points is a lot of points, especially for a neutral site game. And like I wouldn't even call it a neutral site game. It's Brooklyn, St. Joe's is in Philly, and Texas Tech is in Lubbock, Texas. So
So that's just for St. Joe's to cover, not money line.
no, just to cover. I'm taking them plus 11 and a half. I'm not going to sit here and say I probably will sprinkle them to win a money line, but I'm not going to put that as my bet. Like
No, that's a big number. I just wanted to clarify that when you were talking about St. Joe's, you said this is a game that they kind of need. So that's why I wanted
yeah,
to get clarity.
they do need it, and like it's a game I do believe they could win. Like I really do believe they could win it. It's just it was interesting to me to see a line like that. Like 11 and a half points is a lot of points.
I
Like
mean, they
that's
must be like plus 400, plus 500 then, right? If it's
yeah, it's let's see what it is. It's plus 475. Like that's
okay.
like that's like I don't love Texas Tech this year either. Like Texas Tech has blown out everyone they've played, but they've played nobody.
Okay.
Like these games for St. Joe's are so vital. Like they really need this. They
All right.
really need this.
So we'll call it.
They had a really bad loss, St. Joe's. They did have a really bad loss to Central Connecticut State. So I guess that's where the spread is coming in, where like they have a bad loss, but like they were good last year. They returned most of their team. Like I like them. I really do like them.
So we'll call the official pick St. Joe's plus 11 and a half, but we're intrigued at least a little bit to sprinkle on that money line.
Yeah, I would sprinkle it. If you're trying to make a get out of jail parlay or something like that, I would definitely throw them in there.
Your final pick for this episode here, your fourth pick, Chris. What do you got?
My final pick here is San Francisco. They're plus 1.5 at home against Memphis. Memphis is really good. They have PJ Haggerty, who's could score with anyone. He's getting like 25 a game. And they're pretty good. They have a whole new roster pretty much from last year. And then they're playing a team in San Francisco who I really like. San Francisco, I like both of these teams, but this is just the fact that San Francisco is playing this game at home. Um, but San Francisco is they're rolling so far earlier this year, and like St. Joe's, they're like a kind of a smaller school, and they need to win this game. Like this is a huge game for them. If they could win this game, it could be huge for their March aspirations. They beat a really good Boise State team by 11 at home, which Boise State I'm really high on in the Mountain West, and San Francisco took care of them. San Francisco has crazy depth for a mid-major team that you would not expect. Like they have a good bench where they could. That's not really, and for a team of San Francisco's caliber, that's usually not likely. So they could really hang with anyone depth wise, and then they have just straight scorers, and they're home too. I mean, they're home. I don't like what they're doing because they play San Francisco. I always complain about this. Lately, they've been playing their big home games at Golden State's arena
Oh,
as opposed to their on-campus arena. And their on-campus arena is cool. It's like this small-ass arena where like they like fans are on top. It's like a high school arena.
do they not get like a great turnout in Golden State?
I'm not sure what the turnout is. I'm sure they justify it. I'm sure they could justify it with numbers, and they probably do well with it. But personally, I would rather them play at their home arena because that's probably that's tough to play at. It's like a high school gym with like tons of people in there, no away fans. Then you play at Golden State, it's like you're playing in like it's a big arena, you know. It's
Kind
not
of
as
neutral.
loud.
It's more like a tournament vibe.
It neutralizes it, and I don't like that. But still down the block from them. Um, but yeah, I really like that pick. I would say that's probably my pick of the day. That's at 10 o'clock at night.
San
So
Francisco is the pick of the day, so we'll call that your lock of the week, if you will. That's just money line, or is that plus 1.5?
um, do what you may. I'm gonna take them.
I think
I'll
at
take
that
just
point you just take the money line.
just because, yeah, just at that point you're doing the money line.
They lose by one, you wear
They
the.
lose by one. Yeah, I'm gonna. You know what? Though I'm gonna take the spread just because
Okay.
at that point you wanna get that extra point just in case two good teams playing each other.
Now to recap Dell's four picks here, we have VCU minus 6.5 is that spread. Baylor minus 2.5 is that spread. St. Joseph's plus 11.5 is that spread. And San Francisco plus 1.5 for that spread. Those are the four picks. San Francisco was the pick that Chris was most confident in. Can you got anything else for us here before we wrap it up?
No, I just put it on ESPN Bet, and I can't add the St. John's one, but I just put the other three in money line for a parlay, and it's 10 to win 143. So I mean, you could do what you want with that. I wouldn't go too crazy with that because obviously it's a big dog in St. Joe's, but if you want to do something, I wouldn't be opposed to that. And then just we got a lot of good college basketball coming up, so we're probably going to be on more. Friday we got great games too. I mean, it's great games Friday, and then the weekend they take a little break because of football, and then we got next week, man. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah,
all
you were
games.
telling me in a text message that we might be recording all week long. Some really great games
We
on those
really
weeks.
could record all week long next week. We really could, man.
As long as we keep winning the masses money, that's all we care about. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.